All right, so here I am in the pub. Uh, Not it's Friday, fucking February 10th. I am off of work right now. About to play some City Heroes again, one of my favorite games from all old school times. Uh, yeah, so let me get in here. Switch some images here. There we go. Here I am. So I got a new little stand behind me right here that I was able to do to kind of cover up a little bit of my loft where I'm at. I am at home, about to enjoy some City Heroes while I'm chilling at the crib. So I don't know if you watched my last video or not, but I was building this character right here, Bob Quarry. He is a let me see if I can show you real quick. He is a stone brute. You can see the stone on his feet there on the screen, right around this area here. When I hit this, he goes full granite. I farmed with the guy, I want to say, well, it was actually the same day that I did one of my last videos for City of Heroes, if you want to go back and watch that. But I watched a guy farm with one of these granites, and he used an axe as his weapon. As you can see, he'll pull up a giant axe. And just the way that he was using this particular character, I thought, man, this is fantastic. A few months back, they actually just nerfed a bunch of things in the game. I used to play the game for a lot of content. Um, this game has a fantastic story. It's a very old game, but you can download different servers. I won't say what server I'm on. I think they don't actually want you streaming the stuff because eventually you can make money if you've got enough subscribers on your channel. And I think that they're a little worried about people making money off of what they're doing because of uh, the copyright or trademark is gone off of this game, and somebody took the code. I'm sure I explained it in one of the last videos, but they took the code, they made a private server for people, and people were playing virtually the whole time that this game was dead from the creators. So um, but they brought all the code out, and people were allowed to make their own servers. Um, as far as farming when I started doing it on the live game was completely different. You were using the content to farm. It really wasn't until they made where my guy is right now. He's in a place called Pocket D. Pocket D is a safe point, basically like a Switzerland for um, for this particular area. Now, if you look, I'm facing the red side over there. That's the bad side. The blue side is the good side. So um, when the game was released, it had different components in it. City of Heroes was the good side. You're joining as a hero. You're doing good deeds. Blah 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 blah. Then they did City of Villains, and City of Villains is virtually a mirrored image of City of Heroes, different boards, cooler, darker looking backgrounds, um, and you can do your fighting against the cops, and you're doing all kinds of cool stuff. It has a lot of different content on either side. Pocket D is a spot where you could get together, and it's like a dance club. You know, there you see people dancing up in the corners up there. There are clubs inside Pocket D here, um, that you can go and wander around. These are pretty intricate little areas, man. They're really cool. You got a bar on either side, um, things like that. And when farming started, it was basically they started this thing called Architect, the Architect Entertainment, I believe it is. Architect Entertainment. It says right there, AE Corporation. So what it is they built a building inside the game that you could go in and you could create boards to your liking, the type of people that you want to fight, the type of characters that you wanted to be against. There's so much in this game. You can't. You got to do multiple videos, and there's a million videos out there after this game came back, and they're super informational. So if you check out City Heroes, pull it up on YouTube. You'll be able to find a ton of information on this. If you want to join me in this game, get a hold of me via YouTube or Facebook, Ritual Madness Podcast on Facebook. I'd love to jam with some people and play this game. I play this game all the time. A lot of times I'm solo. I know a ton about the game, but I don't. I farm a lot, so I like to jump on here. If I have to get up and go with the wife or the kid, I can just get up and take off. When I'm farming, I can enjoy the game for what it is in my own little facet. But AE Corporation was a building. You could go in there and you could make your own board. So you could basically go up to one of these panels over here and choose a board. So what I like to do here, and what I did with this guy, is I open up two windows. I've got Rocky Smash Arrow up there and Bob Corey. You can't really see it's behind my thing here. I'll move it. There you go. See these right here, Rocky, Bob Corey, and Rocky right there. Those are my two characters that I have on screen right now. I'm gonna move my window back down here. So you don't need to see my chat and shit. But so what I did was I used fire defense to do fire farms, and what it was is the first person that I really saw do it was a guy named Brig, and Brig is a pretty well known farmer in this game. And I don't know if he even plays the game anymore. I followed him for a little while on YouTube. I'm still subscribed to his channel, but I haven't seen any of his content for a while. But Briggs started doing these fire farms, and basically what it is you find fire is obviously going to give you defense against fire, and it has damage over time, DOT damage, and you can jump into a huge mob of bad guys, and it will tick off hit points every time that you are in the middle of them. So not only do you are you able to tick down their powers or their damage, their hit points, right, with the damage over time, but you're also attacking. So you can, once you build your guy to a specific set, you can really kick some ass with the thing, and you can gain a bunch of money on, as you can see on Bob here. I've got 181 million just on this guy, and he's fairly new. I don't think that he's even let's see what he is for veteran. He's veteran level 24, so he's got his powers that are his incarnate powers. He's got a bunch of these that are filled out here, which makes him that much stronger. So after level 50, you start gaining veteran levels, and with the veteran levels, you can start picking up accolades and start picking up your incarnate powers, and it makes them that much harder. It makes them that much harder to kill, that much funner to play, honestly, because you're basically in a god mode. I enjoy playing like this. I start from a character and I'll grind them all the way up to 50. I think one of my last characters, I grinded the shit out of it to get it up to 50. And it's a fun game, man. I play through content all the time, but my bread and butter is really farming. So what I did with this particular tune in my past video, I was just talking about this, is that I saw a guy playing this particular, I had never done stone armor ever in the game. When you go into granite mode, your guy's extra slow. It's hard. If you don't build the team right, your guy doesn't work efficiently. Well, I saw a guy who was using a stone tanker with axe. Now, tankers are the toughest character in the game. They take the most damage. They can stick in there and just whoop some ass. On the other side of it, which would be the villain side, they created one called the Brute, which Brute hits a bit harder than the tank. It's not as resilient as the tank, but it is it's a fun character to play. So what I did was I was intentionally going to make a tank just like the one that I saw. Looks like I'm dropping frames for some odd reason, or disconnected. I think my internet's actually acted goofy, so hopefully this all works out fine. But I got to keep my eye on things. I just looked over and saw some things reconnecting and shit, so hopefully you're still with me. Anyway, I'm going to keep going here. With the brute, it's a little bit. I tried to make the tank. I hit the wrong button. I made a brute. He's pretty damn tough. Very, very close to God mode. I want to say that I was that I've got a couple million, 100 million into this guy, and I don't have him completely built out 100%, but he's pretty damn tough. He kills a little slower than my main character, but my main character was a fire defense, and what I was going to say with the fire defense before, I'm kind of all over the place. It's early. Uh, with the fire defense, they nerfed the fire defense, so the mobs can actually get up on top of you and they will kill you. Before they nerfed it, they just wouldn't kill you. You would be able to just sit there and tick away their damage and kill them without even playing the game fast. And when I saw this guy using that tank, he was doing pretty damn close to the same type of damage and the same type of toughness that I use on my main character, Hex Justice, which I thought was amazing. Plus, he was using it in a different facet that I had ever seen it used, using teleportation for moving forward into mobs and into mobs. I'll show you as we go along here, but I am in the middle of farming up another stone tanker, but this time I used my favorite area, Big Ass Hammer, and that is what my main character is, in essence, a war mace brute that hits really hard, and he's a fire defense. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to take the stone defense and use the war mace on this one and just smash the shit out of things. I like the set better for attacking. It has more attacks that I feel like does more damage, and it's cooler animations if you ask me. I mean, I love watching my characters swing a giant hammer and smash things with it. So with that being said, I'm just going to get into it because it's going to take for fucking ever if I don't. I'll just keep chatting along. So I might as well just chat while I'm going here. So this Big Mobs Road Tunnel is one of my favorite ones by Big Goddard. Big Goddard's the guy that made it in AE here. I do like to play the Briggs maps quite a bit still. I was doing it last night. They're a little bit longer. The Big Goddard road tunnels. These road tunnels are fantastic. I really like what they do here. So we're just going to try to get in here. I don't know which one. If I'm still... Oh, yeah. I must have just finished this last night before I stopped farming here. Excuse me. All right. All right, so we're all set up here. What you do is basically go over here, Big Goddard, and you talk to him. Available missions. Click it. And you just go to this little deal here, and you go up into the deal. Now I have to go to my other account. And that's what I was going to say, too, is to be able to farm, you have to have two accounts, and they don't... You can use them at the same time. You can't play them at the same time, but you can switch between windows. I have it set up so I can just do click between windows in Pocket D. I've got it cut off here at the top of the thing. You can kind of see it, but it's what I'm doing. So with these guys, they are virtually the same dudes. They look mirrored the same. They both have the same boots on even. They both look very much the same. I think that this guy here, Rocky Smash Arrow, is going to be a little bit better tuned because, like I said, he's got the war mace, and this guy's got the axe. So what I like to do, I like to run up on these bad boys. You know, you can use your teleportation, throw on your granite, and you just start smashing the shit out of these guys. I just did an update for OBS here too, so hopefully this isn't why I'm disconnecting on this shit. Window capture. Why is that not up there? I lost one of the pieces in my thing here. Well, it is what it is. If you're watching, go ahead and throw something in the chat. Say what's up. I am here, doing my thing, farming. So what I'm doing is I'm basically getting, I'm kicking ass with this dude, and the other guy is gathering up the experience points to hit 50. I think I'm at around 41 with this guy, with the guy that I'm working on right now. I am trying to get him to 50, and then I'll work my way up to his incarnate powers. And yeah, so this guy that I was watching was really utilizing, and I'm doing this on my own. We were working as a team, so this guy was basically teleporting from, let me move up here. So he'll move from mob to mob to mob all the way around this whole board, and then he'd come back to us while we'd be centered right here in the middle, and he would just bring all the mobs to us, and we would just burn them up quick. What I like about the fire defense is, like I said, the damage over time. Stone does have a thing called, what is it here? Mud pots that does do damage over time, but it's very small. If you don't have your shit set right or built right, you're gonna get you're not gonna get enough damage over time. That's what you want. You can see Rocky back there in the corner. There he is back here, just hanging out, collecting XP, being a baller, shot caller. So yeah, I just mulch these up, just take these dudes down and collect their money, collect their shit that they're going to give you. And, you know, honestly, it is kind of the cheater way to do things, but when you've been playing the game as long as I have, I've already seen, 85% of the content. And they're coming up with more content, especially on this particular server. Again, if you want to know what server I'm on and get together and play this game together, I'm more than willing to show people and run people through things if you've never done it. It has a great character creation, lots of options, lots of costume options on it, and quite a few defense and offensive packs that you can use. Different. You can make your guy fly, you make him jump, make him run fast. Make him shoot some stuff. Like you see, this one right here is a lightning spell. Watch, jump up, hits all of them, right? And drags all these guys back here into the mix for me to kill. And you can see these little ice things. These are all like procs that pop up. If you have them slotted properly, your procs will pop up, and you'll hold them, or just makes your guy that much heavier. And you could do this all with content. Like I said, grinding these characters. It's a lot of fun, man. I like doing it in a group setting. Getting groups in this game, if you choose. So it's like you get a main server where you go to, and then as you log in, you have like a list of servers. So there'll be like a role-playing server, and then there'll be multiple different servers that you can go on. Some of them are really active, sometimes even too active that it'll boot you in and out of the game because it's got so many people on it, and it shows how many, not how many people are on it, but the strength of the server and how much load is on the server at the time. So you can choose the server, if you want it. If you have a good computer, you'll run. And then here's the thing. I built this computer to run games that are way more intensive than this. When I built this computer, the guy kind of chuckled when I showed him the stats because it's in such an old game. The guy's like, dude, you could run this thing on a cell phone. And I think there are people on the internet who have actually run this game on a cell phone or have run it on a tablet of some sort. So I built this computer to do that, and I can do this with no problem. Good high settings, and it's virtually. I mean, I play some Grand Theft Auto on this computer. Diablo 2, the reboot version. But this is pretty much the game that I play the most on here. Or Velocidrone. I just picked up Velocidrone too. I don't know if you know anything about drones or simulators or anything like that. Velocidrone is like one of the premier ones. There's a guy Infinity Loops. That dude he's got over 2,000 hours in Velocidrone. He does Velocidrone live shots and shit. Dude is an amazing pilot. I've been getting into drones again and just watching him. Speaking of which, I got a drone right here. Well, got one of my drones. Got another one. Another drone. And another drone. More drones. The last one I showed is an old one of mine, but so yeah, virtually this is the only game this is Velocidrone on this computer that I've been playing a ton lately. When they took this game down, I was so bummed out, man. I wasn't even playing for like the last year of it being live because the guild that we had was falling apart. There was people that weren't getting along, and it just kind of sucked. So it ended up being a bum deal. But that's how I basically got back into it. I don't know if you've watched the one of the last videos I made. I talked about this friend of mine from Detroit that was in our guild. He's basically the leader of our guild and came back. And when this game came back online for private servers, he contacted me and we started playing and started another guild, and more drama ensued like the last time, and people quit. I tried to keep things going by starting another guild, and I held it together for a little while. We were even doing weekly raids and running and having fun. It was like people were picking up. It was funny because this game came back and everybody was playing the living shit out of it again. All the old folks, all the old heads came on here, and you're running into a lot of the same people. And it was fucking awesome. But it just dwindled down. And they're still creating content for it, and I think there's a couple different variations of this being worked on by there's like a heroes boat or some shit. Hero ship of heroes or something. And then there's like a, I don't know, Titan thing or something. I'm not even positive. This is just my game. I've been playing it for so long, and I just love it. I mean, I'm sure if they came out with a game that's, has the same concept, and really, it's the character creator that I really love the most. It's like you can really make your character cool. I'm not gonna lie though, streaming a video game and kind of focusing on that while you're doing it and still being able to do well and get the job done is a lot harder talking than just talking into a microphone and talking about metal. It's a little easy. Talking about metal is a little bit easier. Interviewing someone's a little bit easier. Obviously, because you're not sitting here talking to yourself. I don't feel like an idiot because I don't have a bunch of people in the house right now. I have another tune on this particular account that I used Axe on with the fire defense, and he's pretty cool. Like, he does a lot of damage, but again, they nerfed that fire. I don't know why they do that shit. I guess people are making too much money in this game, but there's always a way, and somebody always figures out the next best farming thing. And even though they nerfed it, like, you can still farm properly with the fire defense and whatever offense you want. Like, I've virtually made every type of attack class with fire defense, and yeah, excuse me. War Mace is my favorite. Cool animations. And just swing a huge mace or a hammer. Do damage, boys. So I'm not positive exactly what I was even going to say. Again, when you're playing a game and trying to talk, it's a little different than interviewing somebody and talking about metal. But if you are watching this video and you're wondering what I do for my podcast, just go and look on the YouTube channel here, or look on. Don't forget to like and subscribe too. Always helps us out, keep things going. I'm pushing my way slowly to the 1,000 mark, and trying to gain subscribers and trying to make content. I am in the process of moving my studio here pretty soon. I think in the next week or week and a half, I've got to be out of my studio space. So, what a fucking nightmare that is. But I signed a lease on a new place. It is close to my house, and well, it's about the same distance to my other studio, but I'm looking forward to starting in a new spot. I realized in my old spot, so what happened is I had the same studio. Well, I had a studio in the same building and moved around the building a couple times, and ended up in a big conference room that I was splitting with my club, NYDM 5-state regional chapter. So I had this huge space with a lot of different shit in it, all kinds of cool metal stuff, and it was awesome. I when you have that much space and you start to collect and collect and collect. Well, when I had to move out of there, I realized that I had way too much stuff. So moving into a smaller room, I had to downgrade everything. I had to change my entire podcast table and method of doing a podcast. So, I had a lot of space that was cluttered by things that I didn't get rid of because I was hoping that I was going to be able to put my artwork up and things on the wall and blah, 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 blah. And it turned out that the place that I moved into really wasn't hip on that. They didn't want you to make holes in the wall. It was fucking stupid. But it's all done now. Going to move to a new space. You kind of realize in the whole transition of everything of how much space you actually want to use and what's all in the shots. I have an embroidery machine in my spot, and a lot of times in the old studio and in this studio, it became fucking painfully obvious that I had way too much shit in there, and I always had my embroidery machine in the shot, which doesn't really, it's not a bad thing to have what you do in the back of the shot, but it is like clusterfuck in there, got shit laying everywhere, and I noticed on the desk just cables and shit everywhere. So hopefully with this new studio, I can get things worked out. I might have a problem going live in this building. I'm going to try a couple different things. I don't really want to get internet service in that place because there's one more bill in the place, so I might have to record my podcast, which kind of sucks because then I lose the ability to chat with people, and I think that really adds a lot to your podcast when you're doing it, is to have the ability to chat with people or have their, sometimes you like to have the input of other people, like, a good question will pop up, or hey, tell us a story about this, or whatnot. It's kind of how it is.
Ritual Madness Podcast says, hey Bitses.
Hey Bitses? Bitses. I spelt it wrong. Hey Bitses. That's not showing up. That's so fucking weird. Alright, we're gonna keep doing this shit. Yeah, so gonna be moving studios here pretty soon in the next week or so. I've got a podcast coming up with a young band called Visceral Reaction. Friend of mine from the music scene, his son is in a death metal band, and he's like, hey man, I don't know if you're still into the whole game, but can you maybe throw some shows my son's way or try to help my son out? I ended up giving them a show at Skyway Theater in Minneapolis, Studio B, opening for another couple friends' bands. They are young. They're like 16, 17, 18, things like that. And seeing them play for the first time as young kids reminded me of myself when I was young. So it's like I really want to help these kids do some shit. So they have they're just about to release a CD. I helped them book a nice CD release party. Stoked for that. March 4th at the Skyway Theater with Maul, the band Maul, and Visceral Reaction, Maniacal Force, and one other band. Who's the other band? Off the top of my head, I cannot remember. Oh, Infuriate. Maniacal Force, Visceral Reaction, and the band Maul, which I got a chance to see at Slam Dakota Fest last year, and they were fucking awesome. They're great. They're from I think they're from Duluth, actually. Duluth, Fargo, Moorhead, something like that. Two opposite spectrums, but I should probably have my facts straight before I start blabbing it out. But these kids are fucking awesome, and I got a podcast with them next week, and I was hoping to be moved into my new studio before I could do it, because I'd like to have all of them in the studio, and like just to hear a fresh take on an old school thing that I've been doing for 30 years or whatever. Also, I cannot say any names at this moment, and if you normally watch my podcast, you're probably not watching me play video games, listen to me babble on, but uh, I put on Facebook just a couple days ago about me missing being on stage. I haven't played in a band for, I want to say 3 years now, maybe even a little longer than that, to be honest with you. Um, that I was missing being on stage. And I do this like every few months. I will go, oh man, I miss being part of a band. I miss being on stage. And people will reach out to me and, hey dude, we should start something. Hey, we should do this and, whatever. And then it'll be like, hey, you should try out for my band, and I'll have to join somebody else's stuff. And I'm not a big fan of that. I've been doing my own stuff for a really long time. And so me jumping into a project always feels like I'm going to be, doing covers of somebody else's music, which isn't the case. I'm just kind of goofy like that when it comes to wanting to do your own music. So I put another one of those up, and I just kind of put like what I wanted to do, like what type of music, or like I just threw out 3 bands that I really like, and they're just styles that I think if you used it properly, it'd be an unstoppable combination of bands. Obviously, Acid Bath is one of them because if you look at my channel, I got a couple Acid Bath things up there. And I've talked about Acid Bath on my fucking on my podcast, so you know that I'm. Speaking of which, the bass player that is going to be joining this little project is a friend of mine that we've been in some projects together. That's about as all I can really say. I tried out for one of his bands not that long ago, and I don't think that they're very active at the moment. So when this all came to be, when I was asking about or talking about playing again, he was one of the first people to say, hey dude, I'd love to jam with you again. And to hear him say that was fucking awesome, because he's just a fantastic dude and I love the shit out of him, and we don't hang out as much as we used to. Excuse me. So that was him. He just texted me saying, looks like we're going to have a little reunion here soon. So, and the drummer is also someone that I've jammed with before. It was really funny because a guitar player reached out to me and said, "Hey, we should really jump on this. I've got another guitar player that I've been wanting to jam with for a really long time." Actually, they were jamming together in a different band for a little bit now, and they only played a couple shows together, but they worked really well together from what the one guy said. So, and I wanted to jam with that other guitar player for about 20 years. We were going to do a project. We both had projects going at the same time, and we played a lot of shows together, both of our bands. So once guitar player A talked to guitar player B, guitar player B contacted me and said, it only took 30 years for us to get together and actually start a project. Months before that, we were talking about getting together and jamming over the phone, and every time we'd see each other, we'd be like, yeah, we should really do something, man. It's been a long time. We should try it. I was actually going to move out of state to jam with this dude many, many years ago, and it never worked out. And he ended up playing with some pretty reputable people in the metal world, really. And him and the drummer played with some pretty well-known folks. when we were younger. So that was a goal, and we never ended up doing it. Well, it sounds like we're going to be getting together next week, and everybody's going to meet each other and talk and see what direction. We're going to have a little breakfast and see what direction we're headed. I was on the phone with both the guitar players last night, and that's the funny thing about starting a band, or like getting into something. Well, the funny thing is when you're a young man, you think, fuck, I really want to do this thing this way, and I would really like to play this style of music, and you kind of choose your direction. Well, all of us are seasoned vets. I mean, every single member of this group that we're trying to put together are literally, we've been in the scene for 20 plus years. I think the guy who's got the least tenure in the scene has played in just about as many bands as the rest of us. And him being the youngest guy in the group that we're trying to get together, still has a ton of experience, that he has toured and he has done a lot of shit with a lot of really, really great musicians here in the town. So honestly, everybody who's getting together with us next week are seasoned veterans that know what's going on and know how to write and know how to put songs together. And I don't think we're going to have any problem really putting something together. The guitar players have never jammed with the drummer is the only issue. Me, bass player, drummer have all jammed together. I know both guitar players have jammed with the bass player. He also plays drums. So we have all been around a long time. And it's kind of a funny scenario, because I don't want to let too much information out, because I think that a lot of people we're trying to keep it under wraps right now, because we don't really know. We haven't gotten together yet. We don't know how it's going to sound. We don't know what it's going to be. But there's a good possibility that I could be back on stage this year at some point, which is pretty exciting for me, because it's been a while and I really do miss being on stage. Putting something together is, like I said, when you're younger, it's so much different than having a family and being older and being a bit more seasoned. And what do you want to do? Because you're not gonna just go and get signed and jump in a fucking van and go on tour, for fuck's sake. We're all older and have kids or families or wives or whatever, girlfriends. But I think that these dudes are very game for whatever's down the pike when it comes to weekend warrior stuff or recording. I know that there's a lot of, each one of these guys have recorded some really amazing material, so I'm really stoked about it. There isn't really a weak link in this bunch. Everybody is a solid musician, and sometimes it just doesn't happen like that. Like, one guy will carry the rest of the band when it comes to writing material or coming up with a majority of material, or and that's the thing. In my past bands, I've a lot of times have been the guy who gets all the booking done and gets all the pushing for what we're doing next, and ideas for what are we going to do for this on stage, what are we going to do this. And my last band, Outside the Murder, I was one of the guys that did the stuff in the band, so it was nice to relinquish some of the responsibilities in the band. And I think, well, I know for a fact that each one of the guys in this band has either done booked the shows for their bands, promotions for their bands. Each one of these guys has assets that, if utilized properly, could springboard us into some cool shit. Opening for big bands and whatnot. You know, festivals, that type of shit. But I'm not even looking in. You know, I'm not even thinking that way. I just want to get in a room with these guys and see what we can come up with. I got a PA just collecting dust, so I almost sold the shit the other week. To be honest with you, sad to say, but carrying it around from spot to spot a lot of times is a big pain in the ass. Yeah, we're moving right along here. I feel like if the conversation that I just had with myself doesn't make much sense, it's because I'm focused, trying to keep myself alive in this game right now. I just want to get this other guy up to 50 and start working him over. I've got a lot of things and content to run to get him where I need to get him. In this game, you can go through and do accolade tests and things, not tests, but missions, where you get basically like hidden things that help you in the game. If you go collect these amount of badges or specific badges in certain areas and certain maps, that you can get extra powers. Like if I go to the auction house and close down my game in the auction house tomorrow, when I open it up, I will have a day job. Basically, my guy works in the auction house and he'll get accolades from that. They'll give you badges and things for shit. You get a badge for getting your ass kicked. If I get so many hit points on me, you get a badge for being tough, and that it helps with an accolade as well. I can't remember exactly which one, but there is an accolade that you get that helps. So with this shit, this new guy, Rocky Smash Arrow, I'm gonna have to run a few missions solo, tune down the difficulty. Like this guy right here is fighting all of these dudes in each mob at full amount of characters and full strength. These dudes are not to be trifled with. If I brought a level 1, they'd be smashed with a breath, really. So building them and getting them set up. So like I can let this guy just sit hands free. He'll take all this damage, and if you look at it, all the orange things ticking up are the hit points that I'm doing to all of these guys. The red in the middle is the hit points they're doing to me, which is quite a bit, but my regeneration is so strong that I could just sit here and they'll die eventually. Here's what I was talking about. This is your enhancement thing. So this is each power. On the left side here, the battle axe is my attack capability. So each one of these is either the taunt is going to say, come here, like this, like taunt him, bring him in. Build up is something that makes you stronger before you give him the whack. Each one of these ones are offensive hits. Right here in the center are all my defensive ones. On the far right, there's different things you can pick. So this is like on the top here, you'll see in the yellow, it says speed, inherent fitness. Like you get all of these from the very beginning. These top ones, inherent fitness, all of that, and then you start picking these ones. Hasten helps you regenerate your powers. and then teleportation. All of these ones you can pick. Like this is a defensive set right here. The tough and weave are both ones that are toggle powers that help you in your defense. Maneuvers is the same thing, but it also helps the people that are with you in your group. Assault is another one that helps your buddy's hit points. Victory rush helps. Electrifying fence. Now this Moo Mastery is something that I have to actually do. Have to do missions to get that ability to open and unlock. So that's what that is, to kind of get an idea. So that's what, when I say build it, these are all of the enhancements to build this character's powers to make him that much tougher. So okay, so that, oh, there's one guy left. It's kind of funny that these dudes don't hit very hard when they're single fighting. I'm just hitting this guy. It takes that much longer. But if I'm in a group of things, these guys hit so much harder because they're like their abilities. Let's taunt them. Come on, boys. Follow me. Follow me, follow me, follow me. I don't care if I kill all of them, to be honest with you. Now my face is pretty shadowed on this thing. I've got all the light coming from behind me and not much over the top of me. Or in front of me, for that matter. All my good lights are at my studio, so I'm stuck with these. The natural light and the light behind me. Oh, behind me. That's a tie-dye that I did myself back there. Just another one of my hobbies that I do for the pure shits and giggles of it. Jesus, I can't hit these dudes. Alright, you guys can die at any moment now, you fuckers. Jesus, this dude hits like a girl, apparently. And I've seen some girls be able to hit. Alright. Oh, jeez. Thought you were dead already. Missing him. There we go, 248 hit points. He still ain't dead. Come on, you fucker. Oh! Oh! Alright. There, now we killed everything. Now we can exit. Hopefully I gave this dude some... Yeah, you get 42 this time. So he's so close to 50, and I just want to keep going with this guy. I just want to get him up to that point. back in here. All right. Well, I'm gonna use the restroom quick, and I will be right back. All right, I'm back here. Go back to the City of Heroes. All right. Don't think you're ready for this one, buddy. All right, so we're gonna get back into this deal. Uh, Thanks for sticking around. If you did, I am going to get some nicotine in me. Okay, now my pens are not working for some odd reason. Great. All right, there we go. A little bit of nicotine in me. Oh, Bob, you're gonna die. Bob's gonna die. Oh, he's so close to dying. Sorry about that. I had to mute my mic. Got emails and text messages coming in. So I just booked a couple shows. March 4th, like I said, I've got Visceral Reaction, the band Maul, Infuriate, and Maniacal Force coming to Station 4, Studio B, Skyways Theater, Studio B, and I actually just booked another one, March 31st, so 2 in 1 month. That always makes it difficult. You're trying to promote all of these all at one time. But Casket Robbery is coming into town. And they've got Descent of Man, Moloch, and Illusion of Fate coming. And I believe they're on tour. They're going to be doing some Midwest touring. And I think they're going to be doing a couple different festivals this year. I think they're doing the Milwaukee Metal Fest this year, as a matter of fact, too. Casket Robbery. Um, a buddy of mine, Alex, used to play drums in Casket Robbery, so I'm kind of curious to see what they're all about. I know very little about them. I know that they're a heavy band and people dig them. But organically how things happen. Um, like someone will say, "Hey, have you heard of this band?" And you're like, "No, what are they about?" And you'll either hear, "Oh, they're pretty fucking cool. You want to check them out," or they're gonna say, "Oh yeah, they're pretty good. I seen them just the other week. They seem to be playing out a little bit, whatever." And organically, I like to hear that stuff. So it's like you get you get you get multiple people saying the same thing, and that's what I love the most about it. Because then you're in for something. If like they really set it off between people that. Let me back up. So when you hear about a band, you hear maybe one or two people say it. Hey, have you heard this band? Have you seen those guys yet? And they'll say, yeah, they're pretty fucking good, or yeah, they're a solid band. They put on a great show. When you hear 5, 6, 10 people talk about it and they all say the same thing, organically that makes my ears pop up. Like you can have a good show every 10 shows or something. You have one that just kicks everybody's ass and it sticks out. But when you have maybe a handful of shows in a 6-month time frame, and people are going, dude, every time I see these guys, they just bring it. They're just heavy. They're just hard. That's where I get my interest in some of these newer bands or bands that I've been hearing about. You know what I mean? I've seen Moloch play before, but that's a band just recently that released something, and I didn't know anything about it, but when they played their last show, I must have heard 15 people say, my God, they put on a great show. You should be looking forward to see what's coming out of that camp, soon. You should try to book them, that type of thing, And if I do have bands that I work with at the time, looking for bands to open, if I hear a good thing and it's organically happening the way I like it, and I do have a set of standards when it comes to that. And sometimes people will say, oh, people are being gatekeepers on certain things, and I'm not gonna lie, I have been before. I'm just, but this is my thought process on this whole thing too, is that not the gatekeeping part about it, but the things happening organically, things happening for merit's sake. Bands that put in their time and pay their dues deserve to have a little bit more than bands that are just coming up. And I know people out there that book bands because they want to find the next big band or the next buzz band in the scene. So they'll be like, yeah, I'll take every new coming band, oncoming, their first show type of shit. I don't mind doing that, but you're not going to get a great spot off the top, and you're not, you got to work for it. You got to put in your time. A lot of us in the music scene did do that, put in the time and work hard to get whatever accolades or whatever shows we could in this music scene or in any fucking music scene. That's just how it works. But sometimes people do it for money too, as well, and they'll take any oncoming band, new band out there because they're helping them fit the bill, or they're helping them do this, and they may stumble into a good band. But say, I'm booking a show of a touring band that's coming around. I'm going to look around and see who's drawing for one. I want to see who's holding a crowd for two. Are they promoting themselves? Are they? Do they have good gear when you go see them? Do they have their merch in line? Do they have their music recorded in a proper way? A good sounding recording? Like all of that shit is really, really important to move forward in any facet of music, in any scene, in any genre, in any way. You've got to take your steps to get there. Sometimes there'll be promoters, or, and I won't say any names, but there'll be promoters that will go, I'm going to take, X, Y, and Z band, and I'm going to put them and have them open up for a major band. Well, in my opinion, you're fucking all of those bands that have put their time in around you, uh, out of getting a chance to open for a band and getting a little bit more spotlight and pushing them forward. Because a lot of times, as a local band, you may have 100, 150 people that show up, but a lot of those people are going to be the same people that have been coming to the local shows, and we love the support. We love all of that. But when you get an opening slot, you better be fucking ready for it. You better be ready to put your band forward and push, put your best foot forward. And giving bands that haven't done that, they're not going to have their ducks in a row. They're not going to have their merch together. They're not going to have their recordings properly. They're not going to have everything in a line, ready to go to explode. And once you get up there with a top level band, any band, Static X or fucking Soulfly or you know I don't know, Immolation or Cannibal Corpse or bands that you've heard of, Goat Whore. Okay, so if you're gonna get a Goat Whore show, you better be ready to open for the Goat Whore show. You better be practicing constantly. You better be ready to go. You better be able to draw. You better have all your fucking ducks in a row. If you don't, you're wasting your time, you're wasting the band's time, you're wasting the venue's time, the promoter's time, all of that shit. It trickles down. So, you know, it kind of frustrates me sometimes when I think about it. I got a little passionate there. But that's that's what it's all about, man. So these shows that are coming up for me, March 4th and March 31st, are going to be two good ones, I think. Solid. Uh-oh, we got shit disconnected and reconnecting. We're just going to disconnect that totally. For some reason lately, my USB has been fucking doing goofy shit. I don't know if it's this particular one or what, but pops on and off and it fucking bugs the shit out of me. Be in the middle of something like that. All right. Well, sorry, I was just checking email. One of those fucking things. Jesus. Just getting blown up here. Off work and I'm getting asked work questions. That's always fun when you're trying to do something you enjoy and not work. Yeah, it's kind of funny with this particular, with the music scene. Sometimes here in the Twin Cities, it's like I think some promoters try to shoot themselves in the feet. They think that they're doing good things, or they think they're much more important than they really are. I'm definitely. I don't know if I'm one of those or not. I'm not. I don't feel like I'm really all that important or anything, but there are some shady motherfuckers in this business. Period. You know, people trying to make money off of other people without doing a fucking thing to do it to get, you know, to really do anything themselves. It's kind of how the internet corrupted this whole thing too, you know. Like it fucked up the record labels and all of the things where it comes to Napster and downloading music and all of that other shit. But you know, folks think that they can just take from bands. Don't make enough money in this fucking town or any other town for that matter until they get on the road. They get enough credibility to make a guarantee every time they play. You know, hey, I don't want to leave my studio for X. You know, making some sort of money. You know, gas money, time to, you know. Let's be honest. If you're not a musician these days, you're really doing it for the love of being a musician and the music and honing your craft. And you know, I admire so many of these folks that are around me, from the young guys like Agony Reigns and Visceral Reaction and Strapato and Begravement, and you know, these young guys that are coming into the music scene here in the Twin Cities and breaking it down. But I tip my hat to guys that have been doing it a long time and that are still fucking going at it, and it doesn't show any sign of slowing at all. You know, guys like Rob Carlson, who comes in after taking a long hiatus from jamming and you know, virtually starts and heads multiple bands, not to mention running 4 companies. I mean, the dude's he's a fucking powerhouse. And you know, back in the day, dude, I mean, we would have one band and we would maybe have 2, and that was our focus. Like, you know, when we were young, you could fucking practice 3-4 times a week, you know. And I see these kids nowadays, you know, that are just so damn talented, but I see these old guys fucking gathering up steam and opening for these big bands, and you know, they got their wits about them and they've got their business together, and that's all you can ask for right there. Hard as fucking nails. Hard as nails. Yeah, and this is how I know with this particular tune right here that he is slower than my main, is because there's a similar board that this guy made. It's virtually the same board, except for with elite bosses in it. And if you look in the very top up here, it says blink the clicky to get out. Clever. and it's counting down a timer right there. I don't even make it from the beginning, which is right back here around this corner, back there, um, up around this corner where the end is. It kind of goes in an S pattern. And on that other board, I know that this guy's not killing these guys fast enough because I can't even get through this board with this guy fast enough. So he's not killing very fast. And that's why I wanted to build one with my favorite power set, because I want to see if I can kill faster. The faster you kill, the more money you get, the faster you get your money. That's why I should be gathering teams of people to do this with me. There's definitely a lot of people that do this shit, so they can build badass tunes. I do it really honestly to have the fucking money to grind other characters. I almost said grind other dudes, and that would have been misleading because I don't grind dudes. But yeah, it's always nice to if you want to start a character from the very beginning and play the story, to have money to get your guy the things that he needs, like just enhancements to keep him alive, to enjoy the game. Because if you're dying every other fucking time you're out, it sucks. You're going to the hospital, then you got to run back to the mission, or you got to buy mission teleport, and it's just a time suck. You'd like to get in as much content. I am anyway. I've been streamlining this game, or trying to. I mean, there's like one mission that you can run from 1 to 10. You just run the mission over twice and you get to level 10. I like to street kill, so basically run around and, you know, there's bad guys robbing people on the street. Smack them up a little bit, get your things, and you're kind of touring around the city trying to this thing right here in my right corner is this is the city map. It'll show you where in the city. This is every island. So that one is Talos, Founders Falls, Fault Line, Brickstown, and so on. You can go to each one of these areas and it will have multiple things you can do in those areas. And this map will also show your mission map. I'm in a mission now, and I've done this so many times I could do it blindfolded. Like I could actually close this probably, but I like to have that map up at all times because this game is really cool. It's got a lot of things to it. A lot of things that I mean, you could do a whole 1 hour video on just this, telling what it's about. You know what I mean? Explaining each one of the things. And there are a ton of videos out there, and I encourage you, if you are interested in the game, again, you can reach out to me, and I'd love to farm your guy up from 1 to fucking 50. I don't mind it, and I can show a lot of cool things. If you wanted to hook up with me, hit me up on Facebook, hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, fucking YouTube, all of it. Reach out, hit me up, Ritual Madness Podcast at Gmail as well. Like and subscribe, everything. Go to the website, ritualmadnesspodcast.com. 273 episodes, I think, are up there. Of me talking shit with people that are talking shit. But yeah, if you want to learn more about the game, man, look up the videos. There's a lot of shit out there, a lot of content, a lot of people that know a lot more than me. I really like playing the game. I go with the flow of the game. I'm not really, oh hey, I'm going to conquer this to get that. The only time I do that is when my guy gets past 50 and I can get those accolades, and I usually open up a bunch of shit and make my guy pretty cool and tough. Like this guy could just sit here and get punched and not die most of the time. 90% of the time with this particular tune. And he's new. He's not even a fucking real big vet. I think my highest vet level is 400. Something stupid. But he kills way faster than this guy. He can rip through this whole game. I'd be done with this board already. It really is a grind, man, but it's a fun grind. I dig it. I think with any game, you're really, you know, having fun escaping and shit. Doing your fucking deed. Enjoying your peaceful mind. My favorite shit is to play this game and throw a movie on in the background. But you motherfuckers is my movie, man. Sitting in a room talking to yourself. Now, I may die on this part, because they're starting to stack on me now. I've got this group, that group behind them, and these two groups over here that are throwing at me. And you can see how many guys are in each group. So you've got to be pretty tough to stick it out. And this is, like I said, max level, max amount of characters. I mean, that really is the gauge. If you can get all of these in one spot and just burn them up real quick, that's the way to do it. And I honestly think that this dude does not have enough powers to get the job done. That's why I'm excited to get that other guy, because I'll just strip this guy and boot him. Bob Quarry will be dead fast if Rocky could get his shit back. And that's basically what happened with the other guy that I have that uses that axe set. He just doesn't hit hard enough. Doesn't have as much AoE, area damage. Like all these are DOT. They don't hit very hard, but they tick at a time. I mean, it's in theory, the guy who had that character that I saw that I replicated this one. In theory, it works great because the teleport, it allows you to teleport 3 times back to back to back before it recharges, which is badass. If you're trying to, if I do this, go over here, taunt these dudes like that, bring them all over while I'm trying to fight these guys. As you can see, I've got a bunch. You can only, it caps though, you know what I mean? Like your aggro cap. So you can only get so many dudes pissed off at you before they just stop coming at you because you're not killing them fast enough. If you build these guys right, man, they really do smash through things. These mobs get really easy. But this guy who built this, like I said, what I was trying to say is that I love the use of the teleport that he used. But I think there's a way to streamline it. If you have a lot more ways to hit more guys at one time. Like with the War Mace, the dude's got one that he spins around, then he's got one that he wipes the whole crowd, and then he's got one that hammers down and it spreads out. Excuse me. Got a little kitten running right behind me. But as you can see, all of those tunes that were in this area are now gone. Because this guy's a tough sumbitch. But I think that if he had a couple more attacks that did more damage. So this is the final stretch of this last one, and I think I'll probably cut the stream short on that. Just because you're probably like, it's the same thing over and over again. And it really is. It's the same grind over and over again. I farm like this all the fucking time. But after I get this guy to 50, then I can go start playing some other things. And that's probably a stream I should do. But I don't know if I'll get to that today. It's time consuming, and I'm already an hour and a half into the stream. And I may have disconnected a couple times, so I apologize for that if you're watching or we're doing it live. I appreciate you watching. Again, RitualManagePodcast.com. Ritual Manage Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all that happy shit. Shutter Ritual. Photography, ritual stitches, all things that I do. Tie-dyes and patches and shows and podcasts, playing video games like a donkey. Take these motherfuckers out. Sorry, I'm preoccupied with the damn phone. My phone is blowing up. And I apologize. I should be doing that on a fucking stream. But the probability of you making it all the way listening to me yammer on for an hour and a half is pretty doubtful. But if you are, thank you very much. Say what's up in the comments. My wife is texting me, so I gotta text her back. up my daughter, and we're gonna do some. Pick up my daughter, and got to do some doctor's appointments today. That's why I took the day off. So. Aha! I'm almost to the end of this fucking board. Seems like they nerfed it just enough that your guys don't. I mean, once you get to a certain level, man, it just slows down so much. I got this guy to where he is with my other tunes so fast. Maybe I should go back to using them. But, oh, I can't. I like to go, if I build build a farming tune or a tough tune, I like to go from one account to the other so they're not all on the same. They're not on the same account. So like Bob's on my second account, where Hex is on my first account, and so on and so forth. Hex Justice. We'll go back and forth. So Rocky's on my first account. And man, I wish I could fucking play with Hex real quick, because he just burns through these like nothing. I would have done 2 of these in the time I do 1. Honestly, he just crushes. He's just not as tough as this dude. I don't know why. He should be absolutely tougher. Might have to tweak his build. That's another thing too with this game too. They've got a companion that goes along with this game, so you can see what enhancements you have and put them in to get the highest stats in everything that you're trying to do too. So there's a lot to this game, being an older game, and they still have components for it and things still run the way they do. It blows my mind, because it just means that us diehard fans of this game have kept it going. They open up their for this particular server, they open up their donations once a month, and they make their fucking donations to keep the server going like easy, no problem. go. Sorry about it being kind of boring at the end. I'm trying to. I've got my wife texting me and multiple people texting me right now about this band thing and all kinds of stuff. And I'm an hour and 36 minutes into this bad boy, and I think this is going to be the end of it right here. Once I crush this dude's face, give the goods. There it is. Huh. There we go. All right. I would leave a couple dudes. I don't care. So I'm going to exit this shit. And I'm going to say thank you very much for watching this. If you have, if you made it all the way to the end, I appreciate it very much. Again, it's just a Friday, man. I'm just doing some gaming, fucking around. Figured I'd stream it. Why not? Farming for the day. I've got a couple things to do this afternoon, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to pick up my daughter from school, and I got a bunch of fucking errands to run. So that's really what I was going to do today. Fuck around with you guys. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out ritualmanospodcast.com. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all over the goddamn place. You Google us, you'll find us. Stitcher and iHeartRadio, all that other shit. So thank you again for watching.